I'm so excited to finally be putting these Dafna Vintage with a Twist lipsticks to the test. I did get the set of 3. I'm going to be trying one out to start with today. This is my complete total first experience with trying them out. I'm going to be trying the Vintage Pinup shade today, and I thought it had a little bit of pink in this dress, so I'm going to use the pinker one, and just so you can see, it does untwist. And here is what that shade looks like. So it also did come with the brush, and this is a unique, never seen anything quite like this brush. It's dual-sided, but one side you pull and then the brush is actually retractable and it pops right out. It does say for the first time to make sure to kind of break in the brush by pushing on it to break in the fibers, and then when you're done you just push it back in and it closes, and it has like this really neat closing mechanism. And then on the other side it's just your more standard, obviously, brush with the cap. So it says it does come with an instruction card here. There's quite a bit of instructions, actually. Love the artwork. How fun is that? But so there are a bit of instructions. I've got a mirror here, and what I'm going to do is start with the brush, the small, more precise side that you pull out. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up on both sides some of the lip product. Right, I got it nice and coated. It did go onto the brush very easily, so that's nice. It says to work fast, so I'm going to try not to talk too much, and I'm just going to outline the lips kind of like a lip liner. I did have a lip balm on, which I just wiped off, so it said to make sure to prep the lips, so I did prep them, and now I will go in. Now they are nice and prepped and moisturized. Okay, now I used the smaller side of the brush to line the lips. Then it said to take the bullet and apply to the lips. It did say to try not to apply too much. A little bit goes a long way. And now I'm going to take the other larger side and blend. Okay, so there we have it, all blended out with the larger side of the brush. And I did do a thin layer. I tried to make sure it was nice and even. It is a very nice thin layer, but I do feel like it took a little bit of blending, but it did get to an even place. Just off quick first impressions, I do think it's a very beautiful color. I like the color a lot. It is immediately, I can feel it drying down as it says it will, and I will say it is a bit drying, so it's very important to do that lip prep before. I'm gonna blot it off with a Kleenex. There was really barely any transfer on that first initial blot off the Kleenex, which is really amazing. Pretty impressed with that. I am making sure to twist and tighten that back up so that it does not dry out. I'm gonna see how it feels like it dries down pretty quickly. I want to see how it does on transferring onto my hand. Very faint, just a teeniest bit of transfer there. Now I'm going to try it on the other hand after one to see if that kind of ends the transfer. Super teeny tiny faint outline. Just a hint. You can barely see it. So I am really impressed with that. Now we'll have to see how the lasting power goes. I'm actually about to go eat right now, so I will let you know how it lasted. All right, well, I put this to the ultimate test because I just ate Thanksgiving dinner with it on. And you can see it it definitely did wear off. It's only left along kind of where the lip line, the liner part was, where it was a little thicker. It's totally to be expected that a lipstick would wear off after a complete meal, but I did just want to see how it held up. I will say I tried to do a kiss transfer on my hand one more time, and I just had the lip line transfer, and that was it. So very minimal transfer. And then also on my glassware, when I drank, it didn't leave any lip prints, no lipstick transfer on the glassware. So that was kind of cool. My lips feel a little bit dry now, but not terribly. They don't feel too bad. It did definitely feel nice and thin, and it wore off nicely. Not evenly, but it wore off nicely and didn't get everywhere while eating. So like the silverware and the glasses were all clean. So overall, it definitely doesn't last through a Thanksgiving dinner though. So that's where we ended up, but I'm excited to try it more. Next up, we're going to be trying the shade Vintage Starlet. So this is that classic vintage red color. Again, we're untwisting the cap, make sure it's closed tight. And here is what that beautiful red looks like. We're going to start with that small side of the brush again and see how it goes. I have not touched this yet. You can possibly see there does seem to be glitter flecks on this. I do know they have a palette that is a glitter palette. I'm guessing that's probably contamination, cross-contamination from that. Not a big deal. I do have glitter on today, so it did not come from that. It was on there before that. I did want to point that out. But if there is some glitter on my lips, it potentially could be from this component that already had glitter on it. Picking up a decent amount and starting by lining the lips. This does look like a really pretty color right off the bat. It's that nice deep kind of blue red. It's got some undertones of blue in it. It does apply nicely with this brush. This brush, you do get a lot of control with the way that it's shaped. The neat thing about using this brush is you get a perfect lip liner match because you're using the shade for the lipstick, and it goes on without, even though it's a dried down formula, it goes on when you're doing the lip, it goes on fast enough for the liner that it's not drying down yet, so you do get a nice even glide. Glides easily and evenly. So now let's go ahead and go straight in with the tube. Just filling in as much as possible. Without over applying. So I'm going to make sure I close this little, twist it tight. That's vintage with a twist. And then I'll use this bigger side of the brush. Alright, here's what it looks like with one even coat. I can feel it starting to dry down already. I tried to do a nice thin layer, but I did apply a little bit more than I applied with the Vintage Pinup shade the last time because I did think it wore off a little bit quickly, and that possibly could have been because I used just a little too little. So I tried it with just a little bit more today. I always get nervous about getting red lipstick transfer on my teeth because that does happen a lot. So because this is like that no transfer formula, I'm hoping once it dries down, it will save me from that. So far, so good. So here's what it looks like. I'm loving the color. It's drying down, but it doesn't feel too dry. It's nice and light. It feels a little bit mattifying, but almost just like a light powder mattifying on the lips. I really like this, so I'm going to put this to the test. We'll be going out to dinner. We'll be going to zoo lights, so I'm going to be out and about in the world trying it in some different scenarios, so we will see how it holds up today. Fast forward, here is a picture of me at Zoo Lights, and you can clearly see there is no lipstick left on my lips after dinner. It did fade away like it did on Thanksgiving, with only the lip liner remaining and the rest has gone away. Now you might be wondering why I'm so critical of this lipstick not lasting through a meal, and usually I don't have that high of expectations of a lipstick, but at $29 and this lipstick promised to be a long wear lipstick, I was a little surprised that it didn't last better. But overall, I don't generally expect that from a lipstick, and I think that this is a fine lasting lipstick, and it's great at not transferring, but it's not that great at staying around, at least when you're eating. I'm going to use my third and final shade of the Dafna Vintage with a Twist lipstick. This is in the Vintage Nudie shade, and I haven't tried this one out. I've tried the other two. I really liked how these wore, especially the red one. Now this is the nude shade, so I'm gonna go ahead and try this one out and see how it looks. We did such a bold eye look, I thought I would go for a nude, although I could have gone for a very dramatic red. It's really hard to see on me where I've drawn it in because it is such a close color to my natural lips. All right, and here's that look at the final shade, Vintage Nudie. I will say it is a very close match to my lip color. I think it's the slightest bit enhancing them. With the mateness, it doesn't do a lot. I like the other colors better personally, though I do think this is a very nice muted shade for when you just want a very minimal lip. I think if it was with a different full face, if it wasn't with the bright green eyes and kind of like this holiday glam look, I actually think I would like it even more. So I definitely will play with it again. I really like the formula of all of these. When we went out to dinner the other night and I was wearing the red lip, it didn't last, but it didn't transfer all over. I was eating kind of a messy meal. It didn't get on my glass. It didn't get all over my face. It didn't get all over my hands. The night, I think it was last night, I was eating something on a red lipstick that is not a transfer proof red lipstick, and it was all over my face, all over my hands, all over everything I was eating. All my food was turning red with lipstick. So these definitely are a nice no mess lipstick, and I don't have fear that they're gonna be like on my teeth, on my face. And it's always nice to have reassurance that your lipstick is staying in place. So while I will say that of the three, this is probably my least preferred color, I still really like this and think it has a place, and I'm really excited to continue to wear these more.